John O'Keefe with her car after a night of drinking and leaving him in the snow to die. The defense is saying, as they said in their opening statement, that Karen Read was framed and this is all a cover-up. Day 21 of the Commonwealth versus Karen Read, the entire day was taken up with Trooper B, Sergeant Buchanan, which is how he pronounced his name. When Alan Jackson started cross-examination today, which actually surprised me, he had said Buchanan, and he's like, no, Buchanan, and then kind of smiled, and Alan was like, I'll try. That was probably the most pleasant exchange they had during the cross-examination. They cross-examined Sergeant Buchanan about the ring videos because during direct examination, there was a lingering thought that ring videos were missing. We do not have someone from Ring coming in. All of those warrants were seemingly written by Proctor, but it seemed that there were portions of Ring videos that we didn't see, including Karen Read coming back to John O'Keefe's home after being at 34 Fairview, sometimes after midnight. The prosecution said, is the video before it, oh gosh, the friend whose last name started with a C, picking up his daughter? Yes, it is. And the video after it is this, which is lining up with the known timeline. So there was no video of Karen Read returning back to O'Keefe's home. Then there's no video, they say, of Karen Read showing Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe the taillight at the back of the home. But you saw them all get out of the car and go right in. So I don't know if they went back out and were doing that. It is unknown, but it seems that they assumed there would be other video of that and there was not, or it didn't happen. So they talked about moments of Ring footage that they expected to see and didn't. The question was asked about whether Ring footage could be deleted, and he was saying that they didn't have the logs on that. But then on cross, Alan Jackson brought out the search warrant return. The search warrant return is law enforcement telling the court, because search warrants are signed by judges, law enforcement telling the court, we requested these things, we received these things. There is a paper trail of those warrants. And in the search warrant return, it said that they received the Ring account data, video data, and access data and access logs. Who logged in and when? Was anything deleted? Even though Trooper Buchanan said, I don't know if we received those because the search warrant wasn't returned to him. It was returned to Proctor. And if it was all returned in a drive and Proctor only downloaded the videos and not the rest of it, it's a problem. There's a lot of things that are a problem. I don't know if this will be the biggest problem, but it's a problem. So after the Ring video, towards the end of cross-examination, which is not complete yet, there was a very long back and forth about the video in the Sally Port at Canton PD. Because yesterday, the chat was like, this flipped. Look at the 4 on the bay. Look at the writing on the back of the cop car. This video looks flipped, like we are looking at the driver's side of Karen Read's car and not the passenger side of Karen Read's car. But it was never asked in direct examination, not once. So when cross-examination starts about the video in the Sally Port, it's one of the first things that's asked. And Alan Jackson asked a lot, actually, and throughout the cross-examination. But you said this video was a true and accurate representation of what you observed. But it would seem to the eye without explanation that we're looking at the passenger side, not the driver's side. And you never corrected that. He's like, no, I didn't correct that. So Jackson pointed out frequently that it leaves the wrong impression that they are looking at the passenger side of the car, not the driver's side of the car, because it was never asked on direct examination. And the officer didn't offer it when saying, is that a true and accurate representation of what you saw in the Sally Port? He never said it is a mirror of what happened. So we're looking at the driver's side of the car. That was never elicited until cross-examination, which Alan Jackson pointed out multiple times. So when you see people walking around the back of the car, they're walking around the passenger side back of the car, not the driver's side rear of the car. Other things were pointed out as well, like something new to me. No reports were written about the evidence collected from 34 Fairview in February, particularly February 10th and 18th. Pieces of taillight were continued to be picked up from 34 Fairview, and they were logged on evidence bags, but no report was written about them until 2023, November of 2023. No report other than what's on the evidence bags regarding all those days they stopped by Fairview and picked up additional pieces of plastic until November 2023. But what we also learned on direct examination is that they did recover John O'Keefe's hat from the snow. I don't know why we got this long in trial without hearing that, but they did recover John O'Keefe's hat in the snow. The photos don't establish where in the snow it was. It just shows a hat in the snow. But it doesn't show how close it is to the fire hydrant, to the flagpole. Nothing is measured. So it's really hard to have an orientation of where things were located in relation to where the victim was when you don't have even an establishing photo. We already know there's no measurements from like the curb line, but not even a zoomed out photo of this is the overall of the lawn. This is why people use evidence markers, because if you have that yellow flag, you can take a wider shot and see the yellow flag and then zoom in on the evidence marker. Or have someone stand there or something. The investigation continues to frustrate me beyond. And at the very end of the day, the defense had a thumb drive and was going to show it. And the prosecution was like, I haven't seen what's on that. I have to wonder if the defense flipped the video back, which wouldn't be hard to do and wouldn't alter the video. It would just change the perspective. So we'll see if the defense shows that on Monday. And we also heard that the prosecution early this morning filed a motion regarding something, and that motion will be argued Monday morning before court starts. I will be covering that if it is streamed when we resume court on Monday. No court Friday. The court is trying to get all of this evidence before the jury and have them deliberate the case by the last week of June. That's what she said today. She seemed a little defeated about that, though. The judge did not seem optimistic. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on